looking around and in here in the galley underneath where the sink goes. I was like, man, they could probably use a good cleaning and maybe a coat of paint. And down here in the corner is a foot operated pump. Now I've been debating whether to hook it up or not. I don't even know if it works. But recently I just thought about it, and it's like, well, you never know. It's always good to have a backup, you know. Might go ahead and hook this up just so if the electric goes out, you never know. Pump will quit working and when you're under passage and you don't have time to stop and fix it, and you'd hate to go for who knows how long without any water. So if you actually have a manual foot pump hooked into the system, if you get thirsty, at least you can get a drink. Or you need water to make a cup of ramen or something, at least you'll have water. So I think I'm going to tear that out and see if it actually works. Another wonderful thing about working on sailboats is realizing your mistakes after you start a project. Like, I'm just going to pull this pump off so I can see if it works. Until you go to pull it out, and you got to squeeze in through this little opening that would be under the sink to become a contortionist, because there's screws down here, but they're not just regular screws, they're machine screws with nuts and washers on the back side of them. So you gotta get one hand with a wrench underneath here. Oh, great. It's actually double nutted, not just a single nut. And then somehow, like, I can barely hold the phone like this to get over here to try to put a screwdriver on there to hold the nut on the bottom. But I guess it's not going to just fall off, so that's a good thing. Well, some things actually, guess you could say, have a happy ending. Because once I got the pump out, I found this underneath it, which is actually the lock nut that goes on the seacock here. Wasn't on there when I took this thing apart to free it up, but hey, now I got a lock nut to put on it. And there we go. I think that looks a lot better than how it looked before I started. And I figured, since I'm doing that, might as well come over and smear some paint around and make a bunch of brush marks on this side of the boat too, because what's the point doing it on just one side? And then I couldn't remember. I mean, I know from painting wood, you're supposed to go with the grain of the wood. With fiberglass, do you go with the grain, and which way is the grain? Some of this is chopped strand matting in here. So when I painted that, I just kind of went like this. And I figured that's with the grain, right? Well, I'm at the point where I'm tired of doing this. Plus, it's getting kind of cold out, and to run the power cord in, I got a little bit of a cold breeze coming in there. So I decided to rewire the AC panel for the breakers and everything, and hopefully I can just plug in my cable for shore power on 15 amp adapter, and maybe I can only use one or two outlets at a time, but it's better than dealing with that extension cord. I haven't been filming it because I'm constantly coming from here and going down under here into this wiring mess and tracing which wire goes where, and then have to follow it all the way up and through and over to there, and then climb out to come up here where I put nice little labels on everything that say what goes to the water heater, what goes to the aft cabin, which goes to the galley, different things like that, so that I can hook them up and then relabel the front of it. Hopefully then I'll be able to just plug into an outlet there and flip a breaker on instead of messing with that cord outside. And there we go, hooked up to the shore power cable, and everything seems to be working. I went around and tested all my outlets, and you know, it's charging. I got power on all the outlets. I don't smell any smoke, and as far as I know, the boat is not on fire, so that's a good thing. I mean, it's still, I got the shore power cable out there with the adapter to go down, and it's still running off that same extension cord. So, you know, I don't really have power, but I have power. I have the ability to plug into outlets instead of dragging this extension cord all over the boat every time I work on something. So that counts as an upgrade, right? So there we go. I got the extension cord out of there. Just hooked to shore power. Still got this other cable that I need to do something with. And let's see, what do we got here? Indoor Black and Decker Manufacturing Company. Huh. Wonder when they started making cables for solar. That wire comes down and plugs into this cheap, crappy charge controller, which works for the one single panel that I have. I'm not sure how it works, but it is working, even though it's got spots on it where they cut it and expose the wires. And it's got these two teeny tiny itty bitty wires that go down there to the start battery. So yeah, it's not gonna happen right away, but I plan on leaving the start battery there. My new battery bank for the house batteries is going to be there. I'm going to have electronics down here. Right there's my control panel for everything. Inverter is going to be in here. And probably behind here is where I'll put the charge controllers when I get around to doing solar. And then the cabling for that is going to run back there, back behind, all the way back there, and when it gets back there, then it's going to go up. And I haven't decided how I'm going to do the solar panels, solar arcs, dinghy davits. And I touched my phone and made it stop recording. So yeah, it's going to be back there, and I'm going to have it run back here to charge controllers. Like I said, down underneath here, I'm going to have the DC distribution in the shunt and all of that stuff. And the house bank's going to be right there. So it's going to be short cable runs through here for everything on the DC side. And then solar when I get to it. But I still don't know what I'm putting in for solar. I'm not sure how many panels, what size panels, you know, that's all in the works, and eventually it'll get done. I don't know about you, but I'm thinking that right here is a good place to put an inverter. Except it won't fit with these shelves in there, so let's get rid of them. Well, for some reason, cutting doesn't work that good when all the teeth on here are smoothed off. So I had to go buy some more blades for it. And then hopefully we'll finish getting these cut out. I did spend like an hour cutting the rest of the way through that one with a dull blade, and then said, screw it, it's not worth it. get a new blade. More child-proof packaging. And there we go. Now I just got to do it 2 more times on this side. Well, I guess there's no going back now, huh? But who wants to go back? We all want to go forward, right? Well, I think while I'm at it, I got some more of this stuff back in behind here. Looks like somebody ripped part of it down. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take that out. Now, I don't know, maybe I can put some insulation in here so that I can keep my electronics warm or cool. I don't know. That goes back to the whole, do I keep the heat out or keep the heat in thing. Wow. Figure while I'm at it, might as well take this out and do the same fiberglass reinforced plastic in behind there. And yeah, might as well insulate too while I'm at it, right? I mean, it's just this little area, you know, back in behind here, and back in there. You know, might as well, right? Well, hope that didn't hurt. Ooh, makes it look like it's snowing in here. Well, looks better already. Huh. Here's one thing that kind of surprises me. I don't know how good this is going to show up on the camera, but the back of this cabinet used to go right here, and there's a lot of space in there. Let's try this. There's like almost 3.5 inches of space that had nothing in it. I wonder why they didn't take this cabinet back a little bit farther. Give you more room in the cabinet. I mean, it does come down and it's got this little lip here. There's a little space that goes down, and I guess that's the wood for underneath, where this bottom piece comes over. And huh, holy crap, it's a socket. I bet you that's a 10mm. That's where they all go to. I wonder if there's any more in there. But anyways, I was just kind of curious why they leave. I need to look at the camera and see where I'm pointing it again. Why they leave this much space in here. You know, I could understand they didn't insulate it, but you would think they'd actually take the cabinet back a little bit closer to the side. I don't know. Too late to redesign the cabinet and move it back, I guess.